what better person who's been in the show business field for a very, very long time. I grew up with his movies. Of course, Mallrats is one of my personal favorites. His brother's a great actor, too. Of course, you know him from Party of Five. My friend Jeremy London, I'm happy to call.
Hey,
Jeremy, what's
up,
up,
brother?
man? Good to see you.
Crazy week, man.
Yes. You've been in this business a long time. Let's start from the beginning. What was your first reaction when you heard that Jimmy Kimmel was getting suspended or his show was over indefinitely? What was your reaction to that?
I knew that they were going to awaken the sleeping tiger. There was no part of me that was ever worried about anything truly happening to Jimmy Kimmel, because the worst was that he gets his own show on some network where he can actually speak his mind. He
Yeah,
goes
that's
scorch
true.
earth on them. Like, he would be back in one form or another. You know who I felt bad for is Guillermo and all of the crew and the people that work hard. People don't
Right.
understand all of
You're
the families that are affected. And so the most egregious aspects to me, besides the obvious violation of the First Amendment and all of that nonsense, was the fact that he just really doesn't care about the fact that he's wiping out the family, the income of 200 people there, that have families, and not to mention, just the egregious lies and the embarrassing UN appearance. I mean, just where does it end, bro? Where does it end?
But Jeremy, you know what? I think you would agree with me. And Jimmy Kimmel would never do this, but if somebody went on the air and had a show and made a joke about Charlie Kirk's death, that would be beyond inappropriate. And I would say, okay, they reap what they sow. The thing that bothered me most is that Jimmy Kimmel didn't do that. All he did was make fun of Donald Trump because Trump, as I just mentioned, was asked, how are you holding up? One of your best friends is dead. How are you holding up? And his response was, I'm fine. And then he started talking about this stupid ballroom that they're building. And
Well,
Jimmy
that's
Kimmel poked fun at it.
the problem is that this Brendan Carr idiot has been just waiting for anything to happen,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
so he was like sitting there, and then he finally went, "Oh, there it is, got it, got him, got him. Now we can kick him off." Not really understanding that, that he has the fan base that he has, but also that what Jimmy said doesn't really qualify it. They were trying to. Nobody was going to buy the story they were trying to twist it into.
And you're right. And Jeremy, I was really impressed with all the other late night hosts like Jimmy Fallon, Conan O'Brien, Colbert, Jon Stewart. They all had Jimmy's back, and a lot of the actors in Hollywood and people in the show business field, people like you, all seem to have Jimmy's back. And listen, I don't know how well you know Jimmy Kimmel. I've met him several times in Vegas. I've talked to him. I think he's a really good guy with a good heart. And he got emotional yesterday. And it reminded me a little bit, and we're on the same page here, Jeremy. We both believe that, listen, Charlie Kirk was not a good guy. He said some horrible things, but we don't think he deserved this. But I remember when I was on the air, when it all went down, and I got emotional on the air because I was thinking about his family. I was thinking about his kids, and I was thinking about all the people that were there that are traumatized from this, right? It's a horrible thing. And Jimmy Kimmel's that guy, and he got emotional yesterday, and he never made a joke about the death.
Yeah. Well, I think that even he knows that the only way to really to have any sort of fuel against the people that are like, yeah, he's a monster, he's said all these evil, horrible things, is for him to kind of really show that he's actually a human with a heart, and that he does understand what empathy is, because they really truly do believe that empathy is weakness. But the one thing they won't be able to say is that he's mean, and that he's coming from a place of ugliness whenever he's clearly emotionally affected by it. So
Right.
it kind of it squashes that little talking point of theirs, but it doesn't matter because they're still going to twist themselves into pretzels, trying to demonize the left and make sure that the death of Charlie Kirk becomes completely and utterly bastardized.
Yeah.
to the
So
point of there being fireworks and nothing even said about Charlie Kirk, really, from what I'm hearing at this thing. It was all politicians talking about how much they hate their enemies and stuff like that. There was, from what I'm hearing, the only person that had any kind of message of love was Erica Kirk herself.
right,
I
right.
I can't imagine what it must be like to be mourning the death of your husband, but then having to participate in that circus.
Well, Donald Trump said he
What the hell is
hated his enemy.
happening?
Yeah, it's a funeral, and Donald Trump and Stephen Miller acted like it was a campaign rally. I thought it was.
Well, that's why Charlie Kirk's parents weren't there though,
Yeah,
because it wasn't a funeral. It
right.
wasn't even a memorial. It was a Klan rally. That was a rally. That had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk. That had to do with people that are profiteering off of his death. They are weaponizing should be sorrow into hatred and using this as fuel to to continue their the war, this civil war thing that they got going on. That it fuels the fire. It adds, it stokes those fires, and it keeps their little weird fantasy going.
Yeah,
Nothing's ever going to happen. Meal Team Six is pretty incapable. A lot of people like today, this idiot that shot these migrants in Dallas. Do
right.
you think that we're supposed to believe that he left behind bullet casings that said
No,
anti-ICE so
no.
conveniently? The same way all of this other stuff with his Kirk's killer so conveniently. It's all so dumb. It's Pulp Fiction at its worst. It's
And
like if you
dangerous.
like. It's like beginning Pulp Fiction writing classes, and they're using all these dumb little things. First
Yeah.
of all, if you were somebody that was going to go in there and kill migrants and try to throw somebody off the scent, you would probably scratch anti-ice on there anyway, even if you weren't anti-ice. It's a distraction and a way to throw people off the scent anyway.
I mean,
So these
but
people
it's
that take
amazing.
them literally is so silly to me.
It's amazing to me. I mean, I was watching. I did Pierce Morgan last week, and I was watching it the other day, and they had this guy Eric Bowling on, who, as you know, used to be a Fox News anchor, and I think he's a right-wing buffoon. And he was focusing on the fact that the shooter had a transgender boyfriend, and I'm thinking to myself, what bearing does that have on this shooting at all? If anything, you should be praising this transgender. And by the way, I don't care that this person's transgender or not, but my understanding is this person is cooperating with the FBI and helped turn him in with his
It's
father.
so irrelevant. It's so irrelevant.
Yeah.
The whole thing is so irrelevant.
Yeah, it really is.
It really, truly. Listen, man. What have there been like 4 or 5 trans shooters? There's over 3,600, mostly young white male shooters.
Right.
So once again, it is just finding their entire platform is built around keeping people afraid of everything, and so they have to have a boogeyman constantly. So
Yeah.
once one boogeyman is squashed, the other boogeyman. That's why the cats and dogs being eaten goes away so quickly, because then they jump onto the next
Jeremy,
set of boogeyman.
I wanted to ask you this, since you've been in the acting business for quite some time. Do you feel like you've ever been the victim of cancel culture yourself in your career?
Of course, yeah, of course, because I, when you're sort of the victim of sort of tabloid fodder, it's no different. Because if then the people that are going to, potentially hire you in the future, believe that tabloid fodder, then you've been canceled, right? So it's no different, and it's because, once again, it comes back to money and people that don't care that they destroy the lives of other people if they can make a profit on it. And that's the thing, is that, unfortunately, I had a very, very sick, drug addicted ex-wife who needed money, and so she sold a bunch of really ugly, untrue stories to the National Enquirer and stuff like that. And but those stories spread, and they the whole "where there's smoke, there's fire" thing. People believe that, and it's not true. It's not necessarily true. Where there's a drug addiction, there's desperation. People just seem to forget about that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I was
yeah,
just going to
yeah.
say, the time that I've gotten to know you, Jeremy, I find you to be an extremely compassionate person. with empathy. And yeah, I remember when
My eyes look like this today because my dad's memorials today, and so I've
sorry.
had a day, on
Yeah,
top of all of this other stuff.
I'm so sorry
Uh,
by the way to hear about the passing of your dad. My
oh,
thoughts and
thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, thank you. Frank London was a good man. My dad is a good man. Listen, man, he got to call his shot. He got to say, "I'm done and I want to go,"
prayers.
and went on his own terms. And gosh, who gets to do that?
That's true.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get to do that. You're right about
Yeah.
that, particularly these kids that are getting gunned down in schools, and this innocent black police officer that I'm sure you've heard of, a former veteran who was shot because of this Trump deranged anti-vaccine lunatic. But it's interesting, right, Jeremy? Because the Trumpers, they don't want to talk about that stuff. They don't want to talk about all these innocent children that are being gunned down in schools. They don't want to talk about the gun violence. Or as they would say in Charlie Kirk's last words, they just want to talk about black on black crime, or as he put it, gang violence. It's absolutely despicable. Well, Jeremy, before I let you go, again, thoughts and prayers to your family. I'm sorry about the passing of your dad. You know how much I love you and your brother, and keep
Thank
up
you, my friend.
by the way, your artwork, let people know where they can get it, because man,
Thank you.
I look at your artwork and I'm thinking to myself, this guy's like, you're unbelievable. You're talented. Where do people find your
Thank
artwork?
you.
Better than Hunter Biden's artwork, by the way. Let me just add that.
Thank you. Thank you. Really, mostly on Twitter at Sir Jeremy London, or X or whatever the hell you guys want to call it. I call it Twitter. I can't even fathom calling it X. But I'm Sir Jeremy London, also on Blue Sky. You know what? I only post art on Blue Sky. So Blue Sky, Sir Jeremy London, really probably be the best place.
I'm
Really.
waiting for my self-portrait, Jeremy. I'm still
Hey
waiting.
man, if I can ever catch up on commissions, I'd love to do it, man.
Fair
I've been
enough.
busy. I'm headed to Detroit this weekend. I'll be in Fantasticon convention with a lot of my Mallrats family. They're
Nice.
doing the 30 year anniversary. We 30 years ago we did that movie.
Wow. Is Ben
And
Affleck going to be there?
I don't know. Maybe Chronicon in Chicago
Yeah.
in October, mid October, what,
That is
10th
awesome.
through the 12th, I think, something like that.
If I was there, I would have my Mallrats poster right there for you to sign.
where the Chronicon's the time to do it, because that's going to be the biggest gathering of Mallrats to date. And I'm hoping Kevin has some good news on the Mallrats too front at this thing. So yeah, who knows? It'd be cool.
That the reunion sounds fun to me. I can't wait to see the pictures on your social media. Jeremy, I always love it when you come on the show, and I really do appreciate your perspective.
Thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, Jeremy. We'll talk soon, okay? Take care.
Yes, sir.
There you go, everybody. Jeremy London, a guy that I grew up with watching on the big screen. Of course, Mallrats, the cult classic, Party of Five. And I wanted to get his perspective on this Jimmy Kimmel stuff. And of course, as always, he gave us a great perspective. We love Jeremy, and condolences to the passing of his dad. And yes, I want Mallrats too.